Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pat's Chat, where every week we'll be joined by a different George Mason head coach or player or assistant coach. I'm Steve Colby. We're presented by Ortho, Virginia, and it's great to have you along with us today. We're joined by George Mason men's soccer coach Elmar Bolowich. Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Doing great, Steve. Thank you.
It is great to see you. Of course, in these times, normally we'd be seeing each other face to face, but it's good to catch up again. First of all, I just wanted to let's start with how the team is going right now in these different circumstances and how practices are going so far.
Yeah, practices have been challenging, but I think everybody's going through the same organization at the moment with being safe for the student athletes. And so today was actually our first day that we were in phase 3, which means now we can play 8 versus 8. We can go bigger picture. And in the past weeks, we were only going small groups, 4 against 4, just to minimize the chance of, having anything happen virus related. So, it was a process, but I didn't mind it because we have such a young team. So starting out with small groups was actually towards our advantage or our benefit, if you want to call it that way. So from a coaching point of view, it was all okay. So no complaints on my end.
This gives us a chance to connect as well, and your players are getting a chance to connect. Obviously, they'll probably see each other away from the practice field in these early stages. At this point in time, George Mason would have been into their 12th, 13th, or 14th game of the season. How have things been different for you as a coaching staff and as a team with the COVID-19 leading up to where you are now?
Yeah, Steve. Well, first of all, before the season started in August, our players were given the option to not come on campus and to do online courses at home. And 5 of our international players took advantage of that by staying home, taking the Mason online courses, but now are able to play on their respective club teams in their respective countries. So they are actually getting the competition, those 5 guys. However, we are missing them. So we are -5 good players, scholarship players. And now we have an overload of freshman, inexperienced players with us for the fall season. So we are actually not too heartbroken that we don't have a season to play with or games to play with, because we really do need the training. We do need to get on the same page. We need to introduce concepts, how we want to play, the roles, explaining the roles, defining the roles. That takes its time. So we are using the fall season wisely in order to accomplish that. And then hopefully come spring season, we will have a season and we have our foreigners back.
We are joined by men's soccer coach Elmar Bolowich, 21 NCAA appearances, 6 times to the College Cup, and an NCAA championship in 2001 with North Carolina. And Coach, you have to wear so many hats on a day in, day out basis. But, many people have reacted in different ways to COVID-19. Some people are very anxious still to this day. Some people are scared. Some people are angry about it. What is it that you've told your team? What's the message you've tried to get across? Because that's just another hat that you've had to wear.
It is. As a leader of a program, you are also responsible. So, I take that responsibility very serious. So our message has been constantly, do not do anything that jeopardizes our well-being in terms of socializing outside our group and, going to meetings with multiple students or, in your dormitories or in cafeterias or whatever. Basically, be sensitive, be mature, because if we are, having an outbreak in the athletic arena, who knows what's going to happen? And we have seen programs shutting down because of that. We have seen programs being back in quarantine for 2 weeks. So all that work that you're doing leading up to the point where you now can start building, if you're 2 weeks idle, then you have to start over again. So, that is always the risk that you run in a situation that we are in. Everybody is in that same boat, basically. So we are not singular in that case. But you always have to stress the importance to the 18 and 19-year-olds that, hey, you have to stay the course. There is something bigger than you that's at stake, and it's very fragile and vulnerable at the moment. We have to protect it. We have to take care of it. We want to stay together. We want to, work together, so we can become better. And eventually, if we do have a season, we are better prepared.
Talk about the mix of players currently on your club right now. 7 different states represented, 8 different countries right now represented on your roster. Can you talk about the dynamics of trying to blend so many different players, maybe with so many different styles, all together in preparation for February and March?
Not easy. Not easy. but again, a lot of other programs are in the same boat. When you look at Division One across the board with rosters, you see foreigners, left and right in those rosters, even at the top schools where they claim they can recruit still the top players in the country. So the foreigners, they bring in another kind of dimension, another kind of dynamic along with them because of their backgrounds, and we can learn from that. And to integrate them and then to bring them in line with what we are trying to do, get on the same page, and then use their experience and their knowledge on the field is vital. So I'm looking at some of these guys to be leaders. I'm looking at some of these guys to be kind of the enforcers when we play as to how we want to play. And so it's critical to have players from different backgrounds with different experiences. And actually, it's a positive. I view it as a positive.
Well, these chats are going to give Mason fans a chance to go a little bit deeper into the different programs, whatever the sport may be, and not just the results game by game, but also a perspective from the inside. Can you sort of maybe give us a little bit of a handle on the style of play that George Mason is looking to play when they step on the pitch this upcoming season?
Correct. Well, I do have a style of play that I favor. And that's a very aggressive, high pressing style. But at the moment, I am not sure if we can play that way, because you have to have players who are really, really savvy at that and who are totally focused on the process. Because if you take your focus off, if you let your mind slip and goes wander off somewhere else, at that moment it'll break down, and your whole kind of system, your house of cards will cave in. So I don't know if we can play that style, that high aggressive pressing style. I would like to see it. Maybe when we bring our foreigners in, it will look a little bit different. At the moment, I would have my hesitation going that route. I'd say at the moment we would be more suited to play a midfield pressing style, where we drop the line a little bit, absorb some pressure, get organized, and then collectively try to win the ball and go on the attack from there. So dividing the field into thirds, typically we want to attack in the attacking third already when the other team tries to get the ball out of the back to try to win it back. Here with our team, it may be more like in the midfield zone to get organized, to stay compact, and then win the ball and then go forward.
How's it different now? I guess, the challenges are going to be to, as we approach November and December and January, conditions are, we never know what the weather's going to be like in the area. It can rain really hard. We can have some warm stretches. There could be snow in those 3 months. And I know that, most coaches would rather be outside rather than practicing inside. How does that, are there contingency plans that you have together in case you can't get out on the field for long stretches of time?
We are not even there yet. So, we do know that right around Thanksgiving, we shut down the operation because the school is shutting down. Our first permissible date to play a game based on the A-10 conference and the NCAA is on February 3rd. So obviously, for Midwestern teams, Northern teams, that would be a stretch. I think there will be still a lot of cancellations around that time, if one schedules games that early. So I don't even know the amount of games that we can play. That has not been determined yet. So what the process is, we first need to know from our conference as to what our conference states are, and then we need to know how can we go out of conference and basically boost up our schedule by getting the out of conference opponents on schedule. And that all has to be done regionally, preferably with no hotel stay, no overnight stay. And we are in a good situation in that, we have so many quality teams in our area that it shouldn't be hard to put a schedule together. But at the moment, I don't even know how many I can play.
Well, Coach, we're really looking forward to going inside the X's and O's as the season gets here for George Mason soccer. But I wanted to ask you, when you're away from the game, when you're away and you're at home, you're sitting on the couch, what do you do to relax? And are you flipping around on a weekend trying to catch some international games? What do you do for fun to sort of, I know you have limited time now, but when you do have those short windows, what do you do?
Yeah, I probably know every movie on Netflix right now. But yes, of course, you try to get games on TV. The international games are now playing. The Premier League and the Bundesliga and the Spanish League are playing again. The MLS is playing. So you still get plenty of games. So that's definitely something that I always look forward to. To look how other teams are doing things and styles and whatnot.
Have you had a couple of laughs on the field so far during your training sessions? And who's that go-to guy when you're looking for that that tension breaker? Is there somebody that sort of emerged as the guy that's going to lighten that mood?
Not yet. I think right now the mood is sort of still dampened a little bit. We are just too new. These guys just have to figure each other out. So there's not really a history in the program, because we only have 5 returning players. And of those 5, they were not really regular starters last year. So, it's almost like an entire new team that you're bringing together. So that takes its time, to figure out as to, who is the leader in the locker room, who is the leader on the field. That will emerge eventually. And then obviously we can foster that, But
well, Coach, we're looking forward to watching this team grow, watching this program grow, and can't wait to have you back. Really appreciate the time today.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. All the best to you.